Faith Middleton here with your welcome toast. It was Peter Gazowski who said, "If you were planning a trip into the deepest wilderness, you should pack a bottle of gin and a bottle of vermouth and never open them unless and until you become hopelessly lost. Then, wherever you were, when you took your 2 bottles out of your bag, someone would come over the horizon and tell you how to make a better martini."
I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops.
It's great to have you joining the party on the Faith Middleton Food Schmooze, inviting you to eat, drink, and be merry with us. Let the dreaming begin. We're going to brainstorm summer foods we cannot wait to try. You know, you have one warm day, right? We have a list going that you just can't believe. We've got you covered when it comes to party drinks. The author of Batch Cocktails has some amazing concoctions for us so we don't have to stand around at a card table, a wobbly one, mixing one cocktail at a time. My treasured food buddies are here. Chris Prosperi, Alex Province, Mark Raymond, and senior producer Robin Doyen-Aiken. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Okay, we're in our studios at the Big G, Gateway Community College in downtown New Haven. Okay, hit me with it. Summer foods we can't wait to try.
Tomatoes.
No, is it?
Corn on the
Yeah.
cob.
Oh,
Strawberries.
No, wait a minute. Oh, this has got to go slower. Oh, no. This has to be a sensual experience. All right, you're into tomatoes, the real thing.
And they're not even here yet, and I can just imagine the aroma of a big bucket of tomatoes.
They don't get any
coming in.
better.
And you don't just grab a little bit of salt, slice them, just stand there at the table and eat
them like an apple. It's just perfect.
So let me piggyback on top of your tomato thing, because one of my favorite sandwiches of any time happens in the summer because the tomatoes are terrific.
Yeah.
And then that gets layered on, could be focaccia, could be regular bread, with basil leaves, a slice of very well-made mozzarella, and
Slightly warm.
tons of olive oil and salt, and then
pepper.
cold. I have that sandwich cold. You know, I don't heat it up in any way, no panini thing. I could eat, really, I could eat it every day.
Yeah, there's no question.
So I'm stealing a little bit of your
you
I
can
think
tomato.
we're all going to steal off
Oh,
of you.
yeah. How about strawberries? They're going to be here any day now.
Strawberries are fantastic as
Strawberries.
well.
Oh, my gosh. We drive up to western Massachusetts, and there's one field after another, and you
can smell them as you
can
drive by.
pick your own. You can grab a big flat of them, and if you don't eat half the flat by the time you get back, it's just not possible.
Where are you going in western Massachusetts to get those?
Just over the border, just south of Northampton. Go up 91, get off at any of the exits after Springfield and between Springfield and Northampton, and just get off the highway and start driving on that Route 5. And like I said, there's one after another, and the strawberries up there. I mean, not that we don't have good strawberries in Connecticut, we do, but maybe I just like the drive because we literally
It's
eat
the
half of them,
anticipation.
and we eat half of them on the way back.
Doesn't Guilford, Connecticut have great strawberries?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Just to pick ours growing up there,
Glastonbury.
yeah. No one talks about cucumbers, but cucumbers you get in the summertime out of your own garden. So much better than the waxy ones in the grocery store.
fantastic.
And
Yeah.
we make pickles.
Yeah.
We make our own.
We make our own pickles too. That on a
I
hamburger.
don't know what. I never eat cucumbers. I don't know why.
Love them.
Or you throw them in gazpacho too.
Yeah.
you go.
There we
That's
go.
on my. So last night when I was preparing this list, I wrote down Alex Province's gazpacho.
Yeah.
Nobody else. I mean,
No, in
there's
the blender.
That
Boom,
includes
done.
the tomatoes, though.
whatever.
And the
Got it all in
Now,
there.
did you say it with a Spanish accent when you were writing it down?
Gazpacho.
There you go.
Gazpacho.
It's my heritage. Okay. I think we have to pause on some of these to get you in the mood because so far, of course, it's going to come out. Lobster rolls.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because everybody's going to start getting in the car, arguing about who's got the best lobster roll.
Oh, yeah.
the man.
Do you have it hot buttered, or do you have it with mayonnaise?
No,
clarified butter.
No,
hot
so
butter.
hot or cold?
Hot butter.
Hot butter. There's no such thing as a cold lobster roll.
Cold.
They're both good. I like cold or hot.
I do too, but
Just
I
hot.
am a fan of the cold lobster.
Sure.
Oh, I love the hot one.
Well,
A little bit of
they're
sea salt
different.
on top.
And
it hugs you when you eat it.
Yeah.
The cold one doesn't hug you. The hot one hugs you.
It's like a seafood hug.
So when it gets really some real heat in the air, I start making my lobster roll. I make a guacamole, which is very limey and filled with cilantro. And then I get lobster fresh and cook it and then pull the meat out. And then I put it on a hamburger bun with tons of mayo. And then I put couple leaves of Boston lettuce, and then crisscross 2 or 3 crispy bacon strips, tons of mayo, salt, and there you go. So I call it my lobster club, and in the guacamole I put corn.
That's perfect.
So you've got kind of the whole summer concoction in that one sandwich.
I was afraid for a sec you were going to say that guacamole was a substitute for the mayonnaise, but
oh no!
I didn't.
All right,
here
no,
we go.
no, no.
Whoa,
In
wait,
addition
wait,
to.
Wait, you ready for this? Get your lobster meat ready like you did. Take it out of the shell, chop it up a little bit. Then a couple tablespoons of water in the bottom of a pan. 2 or 3, splash it in there. And then take about a half a pound to a pound of butter. Cube it up, turn the water onto a medium-high heat, just so it starts bubbling a little bit, and then one by one start with a whisk, throwing in the butter and whisking it in there. And the butter stays together, right? It doesn't break apart into the fat and the solids. Don't take it over a simmer, right? 180 degrees. And then take it off the heat once the butter's all melted, and then take as much lobster as you can fit in that butter and throw it in there. And then I take a brush, and I get that lobster butter, and I brush on my New England-style hot dog buns, the ones that are cut on both ends.
I love
Then toast those either in the oven or on a grill or whatever. Take that buttery lobster and just pull it out with a pair of tongs, put it in the hot dog bun, and then Malden sea salt or just a thick sea salt, a crunchier one. Sprinkle that on top. Drink the butter on the side.
Wait a minute.
It's
chocolate.
It is so
How many years
good.
have I known you? I have never in 25 years heard you describe that sandwich.
We do that
Why
all
have
summer
you
long.
not? Why have I not?
It's heaven.
Doesn't anyone at this
I've
table
never
think,
heard him say that.
Chris, are you keeping secrets from us?
No, that's my summer
He's
lobster
always
roll.
got secrets.
You put lobster butter on the outside of your
Oh my
lobster roll?
gosh! And then
That's
that butter
outrageous.
is heaven. Then when you're done with the lobster roll, so it's a pound of butter. You don't want to waste it. When you're done eating your lobster roll, you strain all your lobster out of it. I turn up the heat and I clarify it, which means just separating out. Right, it becomes a clear butter. That I put in my refrigerator, and then I have lobster clarified butter at all times to saute my seafood in. Oh my god!
Or brush on anything.
Or brush on anything, or just
Moisturizer.
melt and drink.
You just created more better butter.
Yeah.
Can you use cognac
did.
instead of water?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, if you want to flavor it.
There just is no deciding hot or cold. Really. There isn't.
I don't think you should
Personal
fight about
preference.
it.
No, I think you should
You enjoy
just be
both.
polite
Yeah.
and
And eat as much as you can of either one.
That's right.
okay, how about swordfish on the grill? Some people have their grills out all year and they make that all the time. I don't. And my grill comes out, around
They're out
this,
though now,
around
right?
this time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're out.
So I cannot wait to have swordfish on the grill.
Agreed, especially if you get it around here. Go down to a fishmonger on the coast and get a nice, oh my God.
How do you cook it?
I just lemon and salt.
Grilled corn on the cob, slathered in butter, sprinkled with salt. Now, some people, like our Spanish fellow over here, Alex Province, puts other stuff on his corn, right, Alex?
Well, I've been doing that Mexican corn. That's a little bit different, remember? So we'll just take beautiful corn, and then you can add some, what's that stuff we love, that tahine?
Let's explain what that is. That's a Mexican
Spice.
spice,
Lime,
a
right?
powder.
Lime extract.
It's dehydrated lime
Salt and a little
and
chili
salt.
powder.
Yeah.
And a
You
little
can get
salt.
it in any
Oh,
Latin market
yeah. Hartford's filled with them.
or
Yeah.
online.
And they make like a white cream sauce, like crema fra. It's
Yeah.
kind of just
Like
like
sour
sour
cream.
cream.
Tajin, tahine.
Tahine.
Okay.
That's worth having for
Tahine,
anything,
tahine,
right?
That's right.
But for corn, I have to throw this to you, Faith. You taught me the best corn on the planet. cast iron pan,
Oh.
butter, take the corn off the cob, and caramelize it to this golden brown,
but do you do that with good
heavenly
corn?
bits. Oh my God,
yeah.
yes.
Even better.
Oh, and now that's it. It's like corn on the cob. I'm like, no, you don't understand, people.
I'm laughing at listening to this because I love that too, except don't think that I'm complimenting myself because I somehow, and I thank you every time, I somehow get credit for that dish, and it's not mine. I learned anything I know about that from a judge in New York, Emily Olshansky, and she makes this incredible cast iron skillet corn. I cannot do it still the way she does it. We all say, what in the world did you do to this? Thanks for the compliment anyway. But really,
It's
people, it is a wonderful thing. It really makes the sugar snap into the corn a little bit more. And
So the corn
butter
comes
and the
off,
salt.
goes into the
cast
pan.
iron pan with butter. And then you just keep
a lot of butter.
Yeah, and then you
You
just
stir it
keep,
like a risotto, kind of?
No, you keep it moving. You want to scrape the fond off the bottom of the pan. That's the little bits of sugar that get stuck
And you
down
want to
there.
leave it long enough so that it starts to caramelize a bit.
Whoa.
Ooh, and you
Everyone-
could add a little of that spice you were
Oh,
talking.
the tahini to it?
Tahini
Yes,
to
we
it?
do. At the end, we put a little bit of salt. But yeah, that would be just as good.
All right,
No
we're
one's brought up
celebrating.
watermelon. I mean, does it get better than that?
Watermelon's
No, I always want to
amazing.
take a watermelon, do it like you see in the movies where they smash it down and it just breaks into chunks like at a party. Some people like slice it, but in the old days, you'd see people, they would just drop it and then you'd
Perfect
see
slice.
how
Old
it.
days.
I don't know. Thank you.
Last year.
In the 90s.
With Pearl Jam.
My nephew taught me to, as soon as watermelon starts to come out, he taught me to bring it home, cut it off, a bunch of chunks, throw it into plastic bags, and toss it in the freezer. And then you have the base for a
frozen
margarita, watermelon margarita. And you keep some tequila on hand, and then you just pour in the blender. You put your frozen watermelon in. You don't have to add ice or anything, and it makes this kind of slurry,
Slushy.
cold watermelon tequila.
Do you
margarita thing.
load your freezer as soon as they come out?
yeah.
In summer,
Yes.
beer cubes. So that's what I start doing.
Remember we did that?
Every summer I have 3 different beers I like drinking. As soon as I get the first 6-pack, I drop them in these 3 ice cube trays. I drop one of the same beer cubes in the beer. Oh, so good.
We did that show where we tested that out, and that worked.
Yep.
I mean, maybe a little tiniest bit of slush in there, but there's no, sense of watery beer. It's amazing.
Do you freeze your mug?
With this, you don't have to. The freezer space is, you might have a big freezer. My freezer space is limited. Now that I got to add frozen watermelon to it, there's even less room.
Okay, what else? So we're
Soft-shell
celebrating
crab?
summer food. Yes.
Soft shell crab. I love
How
soft shell
do you?
crab.
I do too.
We do it pan fried, lightly dusted, a couple strips of bacon on a roll.
Yeah, Kaiser toasted.
Oh,
Do you fry them in the bacon?
God, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Or that butter?
Lobster
Or
crisp.
that lobster butter. Yeah.
And you know how you go to the hospital and you lie down as you're eating? It's just the best.
Planning ahead.
To make the soft-shell crabs,
crab,
a lot of butter in the pan. Let it go to a little bit brown, just the lightest bit of brown. In go the dusted crabs and some shaved almonds, slivered
crunchy
almonds.
bits.
Get them crispy cooked, and at the very end, you just start swirling around a few capers in there. And then out it comes. Oh, my goodness.
So,
And you can eat the whole thing. Just
Along with that, snapper blues.
The little baby ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so clean tasting when they're
don't
that
see 'em a
size.
lot.
They're so easy to catch. We catch them with a Castmaster lure. You gut them, take the back of a knife and get some of the scales off, but just dust them in flour, a little salt, and fry them in olive oil like they would in Spain. Nothing goes better with rosé than fried little fish like that.
Or grilled, too. We grill them. How about eggplant?
Oh, I love it.
oh, yeah.
Love
I've been
eggplant.
craving baba ganoush, right? So I take my eggplant, and you can either do it on the grill or in an oven. Just pop a couple holes of them. I stick garlic inside the eggplant. Either grill them or put them in the oven till they get charred and soft and squishy on the inside. And then they go quickly peel off the charred skin and in a food processor with tahini, lemon juice, some salt and pepper. Ooh. And I'm telling you, it is the best spread. I don't know why I'm craving it. It must be because it was that warm one day. That's all it needs, warm one day.
So let me just say that Barbara Kafka, who has died, I can't believe, you feel like Barbara's still here. That's the kind of presence she was. And she did this book called The Microwave Gourmet. She taught me how to do an eggplant in the microwave. Nice. You just stab it with a fork all over and stick it in the microwave 10 minutes or 12, 20. I can't even remember.
But anyway, soft on the inside.
And you see it just collapse. Then you just cut it open and scrape all the flesh out. And with that flesh, you can do anything. Oh. You can make a salad, your favorite spices, anything you want that would flavor it and make it great.
Wow. Yeah.
Thanks to Barbara Kafka for that.
Yeah. She was the best vegetable cook on the planet. When you needed a recipe for something, she was the one you went to for as far as veggies.
Not bad with pasta either. I make her lemon pasta all the time.
Robin, I can't believe you're saying that. I make her cauliflower and anchovy pasta that is
I got to look that
to
up.
Die for. Anchovies in a lot of olive oil and chopped up cauliflower and high heat. It gets browns. It gets soft. It's unbelievable.
I gotta try that. That sounds awesome,
doesn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, my hat's off to her.
I know, me too. Okay, here's the deal. Later on in the show, we're going to do batch cocktails. This is how not to stand at a card table and mix drink by drink by drink. We're going to tell you how to do them in batches where they stay ice cold and most fantastic combinations. We love Maggie Hoffman, who's been in our show before, and this is her new thing. So we're going to get to that with you. More mouth-watering conversation and fun ahead, including summer food. It continues on the Faith Middleton Food Schmooze. I hope you will make a charitable contribution to feed the hungry, and we'll be right back.
Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread had a fight. Beans knocked cornbread out of sight. Cornbread said, now that's all right. Meet me on the corner tomorrow night. I'll be ready. I'll be ready tomorrow night. I'll be ready. I'll be ready tomorrow night. I'll be ready. I'll be ready tomorrow night. That's what Beans said to cornbread.
You can sign up for a free podcast of the show, which is a copy of it. It arrives in your inbox. You just sign up once at foodschmooze.org. I'm with my treasured food buddies, Chris Prosperi, chef and co-owner of Metro Beast Restaurant in Simsbury, Connecticut. I call it the new Metro Beast. Wine broker Alex Province and Mark Raymond. Our senior producer, Robin Doyen-Aiken, of course. Let's keep going with these summer foods because I'm having a ball with this. We just, in fact, ate some food that Chris brought to us.
Delicious.
And we said, let's do that summer theme we're going to do on the show. And in he comes with Alaskan king crab legs.
Yeah.
That were, I've never in my life had these until Chris brought them to me years ago, and I thought, this is unbelievable.
Religious experience.
It really is. So that was so
Heavenly.
generous. It was fabulous. And then you did a whole tapas style thing of small bowls of things that we dove into that felt summery.
Summer salads.
And they don't have
No
to,
carbs.
Yeah, and you don't have to go crazy, and you don't have to do a lot of work. Like I made one with hearts of palm. You buy that in a can already, right? So you can have it in your pantry. I took them and I chopped them. You can buy them in the can already chopped. All you do is drain them. Put them in a bowl.
And you chopped up celery with that.
Yeah, and then just take some fresh celery, chop it up,
For a little crunch?
leaves and all.
Did you do any kind of dressing on that?
Very simple. A little bit of lemon juice and some olive oil and some mustard seed and a pinch of salt and a dash of Tabasco, and that was it. Easy.
It was anyway. A lot of a lot of bowls of delicious things.
Yeah, little salads.
It felt so like
goodness.
summer. That casual.
I love the mushrooms with the green beans.
Yeah, all I did was took mushrooms, washed them, put them in the oven with some olive oil, and then mixed them with some roasted green beans, which I did the exact same thing. And then I threw them in a bowl and I splashed balsamic on them.
And they had a little caramelization to them.
I
They
see
were
cold
wonderful.
shrimp with lemon.
Alex Robbins, you have a summer tradition that you and Matt, you do this every year. Tell us how it works.
So we just get a big chalkboard, like a 4x6, and we have it in the kitchen. And at the beginning of summer, we just grab chalk and we write down all the fun things that we want to eat. So like homemade ice cream, gazpacho, picnic on the beach, and we use it as inspiration. You know, when you come home from work and you're tired, you look up at the board and you're like, oh, let's do grilled
ice cream.
Yeah, make ice cream.
That's a really good idea.
Fun, right?
Yeah,
it's like a
really
list, but
fun.
it's for visual people.
I'm thinking...
For visual learners.
How about zucchini?
Summer food.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zucchini. I like them when they're
Underrated.
baby zucchini.
Underrated, for sure.
No, but do you think they taste different?
I think they're sweeter when they're smaller. And I love chopping them up, slicing them very thin, and then hitting them into like a hot skillet or roasting them in the wood-fired oven where they get a little caramelization with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of crushed red pepper, and then they're great on a pizza. They're great in a frittata. They're great just by themselves.
I always tell people,
that's really good. I love those.
Once the grill is on and it's hot, gas or charcoal, always have stuff like zucchini, eggplant, tomatoes, onion ready to go. As soon as you're done with the grill,
gotta
it's
stand
usually
around there anyways.
and it's usually at its perfect heat when you're done. So take all that stuff, toss it with olive oil, salt, pepper, maybe a little basil or herbs, and just
a whole thing of garlic,
and just
head of
fill
garlic.
your grill with veggies, not for dinner that night, but for the next day, for lunch. Yeah, and then just chop it up, put it in Tupperware containers, and like Mark said,
Great
you
idea.
can put it in pizzas, you can put it in pastas, you can put it in just veggie salads.
Your morning omelet?
I take them and mix them with a little olive oil, balsamic, and fresh basil, and you make like a ratatouille with them. And it's heavy.
Hey, does anybody have stuff coming up in the garden that you
I just
didn't
planted.
plant?
No, that came up from last year.
I didn't do one thing. You're raising your hand, Chris.
I
didn't do one thing.
I have scallions,
And
onions coming up from last year.
Me too. I looked over. I thought, I have chives? I didn't plant chives. You know, I thought, where did those come from?
Things that come up every year.
Yeah.
It's karma.
My fresh oregano came back. My asparagus comes back every year.
Yeah.
I've got rhubarb.
Yep, that always comes
Which I
back.
love.
Tomatoes will come back too if you allow them
Sage.
to fall.
Yeah.
And then the cilantro, it went to seed at the end of the
so you
season.
got plenty of
So it's
cilantro
like
coming back.
everywhere.
Coriander.
I've got
It
cilantro
is?
everywhere. Yeah.
If you let it go to seed, the seed will go into the ground, reseed for next year.
Yeah.
Can never have enough cilantro.
I know. I agree.
So
Wow.
some people don't like cilantro, though. I love it,
Yeah,
but
some
to
people
them it
have
tastes
that.
like soap or
It's
something.
actually a gene, yeah. I'd be so sad.
I know. I love it
love
too.
cilantro.
It tastes like grassy herb to me. I love it.
Fresh.
I know. Back to our summer list. You know, one thing we didn't mention, and it's something that I really do love to do, where I'll take a whole head of romaine lettuce, you know, that's long and thin, wash it well, and then cut it right straight down the middle the long way. So you've got two halves, and then toss it in olive oil and put it on the grill.
Oh.
And that head of romaine starts to char, caramelize. It gets cooked up, and then flip it over, and then it's got this beautiful char on it. Then you
like
can
10 minutes or 5 minutes?
yeah,
or?
it's
just
like
like
it
it's
depends
charred.
on how hot you grill it until it's
You'll see it.
you know
You'll
you're
see
obviously not going to
Yeah.
exactly. You don't want to burn it, but it gets kind of golden and beautiful, and then I will put a little, whether it is jarred or something I've made, a kind of Caesary drizzle on it, and just serve the halves to people.
Beautiful. And you just
It's
chow on
so
it.
good. Instead of traditional salad, it's
And
wonderful.
it's easy, right? You know what I can't wait for? Raspberries.
Oh, I love raspberries.
You just go out, if you
My
have bushes,
favorite.
you plant them. I'm telling you, if you can get bushes going and you can get them fresh, there's nothing better than after dinner going out to the raspberry bushes,
How
picking
do
them
you
into
keep
little bowls.
the deer
homemade
and
ice
the
cream.
birds from eating things? Forget it.
Yeah, share.
I have lost
Share.
that war.
Yeah, you share.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
there's no sharing.
Oh, there's no sharing?
No, they
on
don't share.
On
Yeah.
their part,
Yeah.
there is no sharing.
Yeah. I'm lucky at my parents' house. They're in a secluded area. You go out there with bowls, and
me
you
just-
fill the bowls, and then you bring it back, and we pour fresh cream over the top and a little Grand Marnier over it, and you just spoon that in. Oh, my
Lord.
God. And then every once in a while, you mash one up so it flavors the cream and cognac with raspberry juice. Oh,
A listener commented
so
on
good.
Facebook how they like to eat fruit warm, picked like
Sun
that.
warm,
To me,
yeah.
I think nothing's better than like blackberries off the bush in the summertime,
peaches.
like
Yes.
August heat warm,
Exactly. Sun warm.
sun warm.
Yeah. Can you believe that we are this far into the summer foods that we can't wait to have, and we haven't done potato salad?
fresh dug potatoes, too.
New potatoes.
Gotta have
Yeah.
potato salad.
Oh, my
Well,
gosh.
when
They're
do
like
those come out?
German and
They'll be
American.
soon. They'll be June.
I
And
thought
then
that
all
was
you have
much
to do is-
later. No, huh?
No, end of
Okay.
June, because they're first to go in. Both of the farms I use put them in really early. It's called a cold crop. So you can drop it in. You don't have to worry about a little frost or anything. And
Okay.
Man, they're good. When the first ones come, it's like magic. And they almost have like a sugary sweetness to them.
Yeah.
And they're so tender, you don't even need to peel them. You just sort of wash
the
them
skin
really
just kinda
good.
falls off.
And then you just steam them lightly with salt.
You know, there's something about what you're saying that reminds me of the first time I had a freshly dug potato, and it was like no other potato I've ever had. I thought, oh, this is a potato?
That changes it.
I mean, I love
Game
potatoes, but the ones I was eating, you know, the ones like it, they seem ancient compared to the flavor. So I'm with you, Chris. Do you remember on the show I made a BLT potato salad?
Oh,
Yes, I've used it before.
Okay.
People love it.
So you chop up iceberg lettuce, chop it up. That's got the crunch in it. Then lots of crispy bacon that you chop
Lots of
up
bacon.
and
Yep.
throw in.
lots of bacon.
More the better.
And
Thick
cherry
slime, too.
tomatoes that
Cherry
you chop
tomatoes,
up
yeah.
and put in there with your whatever thing, you know, a mayonnaise-y thing and whatever spices you want to do. And
Makes a
you
great
mix it all
potato salad.
together. It really does. It's really fun.
Sparkly, fresh with the tomatoes, you know, and then the bacon is smoky and salty, and the potato just soaks
Fun.
it
You
all
use good
up.
bacon.
Yeah, I use thick slab.
Yep.
You can go to Big Y and
you
have
do?
them. Yeah, you can go to like a Big Y and have them cut it for you.
Yeah.
You know, they have the slicer back there.
Or
and they have
Nodine's.
slabs of bacon. Or Nodine's thick sliced apple smoked bacon. Yeah.
Or double smoked.
Double smoked.
And then we have, is it possible that no one did hot dogs and hamburgers yet?
My favorite.
Hots and hams. Gotta have them.
No, you're doing pizza in that oven all through the summer.
Yes, we're always doing pizza. But you've got to have your hot dog and hamburger nights.
Yeah.
I don't
Connecticut has such good hot dogs.
Oh, yeah. Hummel.
We really do.
Right?
Hummel?
Right here in New Haven. Hummel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hummel, Groton Weagle.
Weagle, Muckies up
Muckies.
in Hartford.
So
I mean,
Yeah,
just so many great
hello.
quality hot dogs.
Red Hots from Hummel. Oh my God. The holy grail of hot dogs. They're big and fat hot dogs, so they're like double the thickness. I usually can only eat half of one. I cut it lengthwise, and they're called Red Hots, and they're spicy hot. Not like
How
unedible.
spicy?
Nah, like I'd say a 5.
All
You know,
right.
so not burning your mouth off and I can't eat this, but just enough where you got to have another bite.
Yeah.
And, oh my God. And then I take onion because I'm from New York. I'm from Queens, and the hot dog's got to have the cheesy tomato onions in it. And I don't mean cheesy like have cheese in it. I mean they're sautéed onions that they just smash in a little tomato paste and water. It's really cheesy, but oh my gosh, it's so good on hot dog. And a little bit of salt. That's all it is. It's just tomato paste, water. You sauté your onions. You put your tomato paste in. You add water, and oh my gosh, you put that on the Red Hot.
Celebrating summer foods on the Food Schmooze. So you know how we've talked about this in the past where you go through phases in your life where suddenly my cheeseburger must have the following
Gorgonzola
things.
and
It has to
figs.
have, I mean, I've gone through probably the 25 stages of grief with my cheeseburger. With hot dogs, it's striking me that I've also been through phases. I went through the mustard and onion phase.
And relish.
The raw onion versus the cooked onion phase. The relish.
The
The
Chicago
chili
dog.
Different
Yeah.
Chicago
buns,
dog.
toasted
the
buns.
meat sauce.
The meat
meat
sauce.
sauce.
And onion and mustard.
Fresh onion versus sautéed onion.
I wonder
Chili
who,
cheese
Who
dogs.
invented the hot dog?
I don't
Do
know.
we
But,
know? I
Germans, I
should
bet.
have.
well, it's a Frankfurter. Yeah, that comes from Germany. But who brought it here and how did
How it
Who is
developed from
Yeah, how did
smart
it
enough?
become an American thing? That we'd have to look up.
Yeah.
Boy, I thank whoever it was every
Well done.
day. My retirement restaurant is a hot dog restaurant.
Think about this. How many places do you know across New England where it might be just a stop where they have like a truck that makes hot dogs? You would stop for that dog. You would absolutely
There's
stop
one
for
off
that
Route
dog.
8 in Winsted where I live, and I
Yeah.
go there. It's just a little cart that he pulls behind his truck. It's the best
It's
hot dog in
awesome.
the summer. In a couple weeks, he'll even have a little picnic table out there you can sit.
Burgers lately, I cannot make my hamburgers without chimichurri sauce now. So, chimichurri was typically something that we'd put
Green
as an accoutrement to the grilled meats that we do. But we started
Wow.
mixing the sauce right into the hamburger and then cooking them on the
Any
grill.
cumin?
No, but
So you
just,
put it in
the
the
parsley, the garlic, the olive
Not
oil.
on it.
Just put it into the mix, right?
Oh,
And then
A chimney burger.
grill it and then put a slice of provolone over the top. You
that's
are
your
good.
retirement, buddy.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
telling you.
I'm
Chimney
doing that.
burger.
I'm doing
Amazing.
that. I'm going to do that this weekend.
It's awesome. You'll love it.
You'll be both on the
And you
same
can make them
corner.
ahead of
Do you-
time
do
and
you-
freeze
do you
them.
put cheese on it?
Yeah,
provolone, yeah.
Little zingy cheese.
Oh,
And then I'm going to have my paella truck.
This summer, I need to have 2 paellas. I need to have Alex's paella, which is unbelievable,
Killer. Had it
Yeah.
many times.
from his family, and I need to have the paella made in the giant cauldrons
Oh, yeah.
by the Basque
Los Bascos.
men who are coming, the Bascos,
When is
who are
that?
coming
Yeah.
from the Basque region of Spain and from across New England to the New London waterfront on August 17th.
Oh,
Got to be there. Last
We'll be
year was
there.
the first year, right?
It is the paella of a lifetime, like Alex's, and it's the biggest
It's
thing
huge,
you've ever
right?
seen.
It's like
the
feet
size
across.
of this room.
It is. It's about as big as this room.
And there are several of them. One is seafood, one is this, that, and the other thing. Lots of Spanish wine and
Oh, I wanna
music
go.
and
I missed
everything
it
else.
last
And you're an ambassador of
And I
Spain.
am the ambassador to the Basque
Nice.
region, and I'm very
like it.
proud.
It's real.
It's for real.
It
and
is.
the government wants to host me. Guess who's coming with me, people?
Ambassador.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that has been the most fun. I'm starving somehow.
Oh.
It was just the best. All right, coming up, how to do pictures of drinks so that you can enjoy your own party. Maggie Hoffman is on the air with us. We love the local. Please support your local food growers and food makers. Batch cocktails right after this short break. This is the Food Schmooze Party, offering the richness of life and coming to you in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New York, including Westchester County, the East End of Long Island, the Hamptons, of course. The senior producer is Robin Doyen Aiken. And to hear the show on Connecticut Public, it airs Thursdays at 3 and 9 p.m. and Saturdays at noon. Podcasts and our curated recommendations are always online at foodschmooze.org. And of course, you can talk with us on Facebook too. Okay, you have a choice. You can stand at what we call the rickety card table as
have
we
one,
all
don't you?
drag out all those
It's
things.
a choice.
Or if you're having some folks over, you can do this batch cocktail thing. You know, in the old days, they would call this a punch. And especially in the South, this was a big deal. And then we think, we'll do the batch cocktail, the family cocktail recipe in the punch bowl on certain holidays.
I still have a punch bowl.
Well, it's a thing you can do anytime people are coming over. You need to know a few tips, how to keep it cold. Yeah. So who do we get back again with us? We've got Maggie Hoffman, and she did a book which I loved, How to Use One Liquor to Make a Whole Bunch of Different Cocktails, so that you didn't have to go out and buy 20 bottles, spend $200 to make some cocktails. Okay, now she's done this new one. We have it on the website, foodschmooze.org, with some of her recipes and all the information about her book. It's called Batch Cocktails. These are make-ahead pitcher drinks for every occasion. Hey, Maggie, welcome back to the Food Schmooze Party.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's great to talk to you. Where are you right now?
San Francisco.
I know.
Oh.
I'm always jealous when you say that. Okay, so tell me, what made you turn to this?
The more I talk to people and when I traveled around with the first book, The One Bottle Cocktail, the more I realized people want cocktails to be easy. They want to have a dinner party or a barbecue and serve a signature drink. You know, everyone wants to have a signature drink, but they don't want to be fussing with a cocktail shaker. And some people don't own a cocktail shaker. Cocktail shakers are kind of a pain. And so people are always asking me, what do you do for a group? And so I decided to put together this book of recipes that are modern cocktails. They're not too sweet. They're not, made with some kind of drink mix powder. They're fresh and interesting, and the signature cocktails are organized by flavor so that you can pick, I like a spicy drink or I like a bitter drink, depending on what you feel like.
So here's a style of drink that we love here on the show. And in the past, we have talked, I don't know how many hours, about how to make a sangria. A really good one. And often the winner of that conversation is our Alex Province, who's half Spanish. And so he helps us understand what the whole true theory about sangria is, although there are many kinds of sangria. I thought this was a great recipe. This is on our site, foodschmooze.org, and it's your side porch sangria. This will serve about 8 people, goes in a 2-quart pitcher. We've got some Aperol, some Campari. So this is interesting.
Uses both.
Both. Carpano Antica, which is a sweet vermouth, and some dry white wine, like a Sauvignon Blanc, though. So a little bit more floral. Apricot juice, grapefruit juice, and then you would put various pieces of fruit in there. Side porch sangria, up at the side, gorgeous picture. What's your theory with this sangria?
Well, it came from a great bartender who works in New York named Dorothy Elizabeth. And what I love about this is it has the lightness of Sauvignon Blanc, really refreshing that grapefruit juice. And then it has these bitter elements. So if you like an Aperol Spritz, you might like this even better because it has a little Aperol and a little Campari and that vermouth. So it has kind of a range of flavors that are really refreshing.
So I want to ask you something about Aperol in a couple of minutes. So this one does not have, it has a sweet vermouth, which is interesting to go against the bitter. And so that's the contrast in this. But there's nothing like a brandy, something dark in here, right?
But that Carpana Antica that she uses almost tastes like root beer. Remember, we had it
sweet vermouth, right?
Yeah, it's so like root beer-ish. Yeah, but brandy. I mean, couldn't you probably add brandy to this anyway?
No, this is where the recipe group, they want to kill you because
the fruit
it's like,
in the
don't
brandy.
you dare.
Don't add
you
it,
touch
just soak
my
the
recipe.
fruit in it.
I think something nice about this is it's pretty light in alcohol. So if you're going to have a couple glasses and it's the afternoon, you're not going to need a nap afterward.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
So why, though, would you put both Aperol and Campari in the same pitcher?
Oh, I love combining them. The Aperol has sort of a lighter orange quality, and it's a little sweet. But I don't like to do all Aperol because I like to add a little more of that bitter edge. So the Campari is a little more bracing, a little more bitter.
Yeah, okay. See,
They're
that's
made by the same
interesting.
people.
Yeah,
Yes.
interesting and very secret. You saw this. I know you did, right? This article that was in the New York Times, Maggie, about...
It's all anyone's talking about.
I was so mad when I saw this. You know, someone said it's a bad drink. It's a
How
bad...
come?
And
I missed the article. I'm
It's
glad.
all everyone in
Europe.
all of Europe is drinking
Yeah,
them.
every place
And
when I
then
was in
we
Vienna.
started drinking them, and I thought, how dare you? They're drinking in Europe soda cocktails. You know, they're pouring glasses of soda with spirits and loving them. Is someone going to write an article like that? Okay, Maggie, go ahead, weigh in on this.
I think this had a really aggressive headline, and one thing all writers know is that usually the writers aren't the person writing the headline. So the headline was, "The Aperol Spritz is not a good drink." But I think what she was really saying is a few things. One is that when you're making cocktails of any sort, you want to use good ingredients. So people often make an Aperol Spritz with really cheap Prosecco. And if you're going to make a good version of any drink, you want to use a sparkling wine that you would drink on its own. Another thing that's really important is to think about, you know, your personal taste. And if you're feeling like something a little less sweet, she's suggesting other aperitif-type liqueurs that could work. So that's like in the sangria where we mix the Campari and the Aperol. That's adjusting it so it's a little less sweet. Another thing to remember if you are making spritzes is that Aperol is very heavy. It's a thick, rich liqueur. So you don't want to put that in the bottom. If you are making a spritz in a glass, you put a pillow of your sparkling wine in the bottom and then your Aperol on top, and that's going to sink down. If you start with your Aperol on the bottom of the glass and you stick a straw in it, all you're drinking is that sweet liqueur.
See why we really respect Maggie. This is why. That is why.
That is the tip of the day right there.
Mark, you're nodding like crazy about
The quality of Prosecco. Now there's the extra dry Prosecco, and then there's the Brut Prosecco. And the Brut Prosecco, which is a little drier, you know, you utilize that, and it kind of offsets a little of that sweetness that you're getting from.
And not a lot of Aperol, right? Just the teeniest little, maybe some people put too much in it. I only put a little splash in it to give it a little color and a little
I don't think you can say
fruitiness, and
it's
that's it.
sweet. It's so
No,
refreshing,
it's
and that bitter note.
Yeah.
You do it like when people come over before dinner because it doesn't ruin your appetite like a martini would. I mean, it's so light and refreshing.
I like to do a 3-1-1, so 3 ounces sparkling wine, 1 of your Aperol, or you could do split of Aperol and Tina or Aperol and Campari, and 1 of club soda.
Perfect.
So you're really not doing very much.
Great. Love that. Okay, let's try this. This is also at foodschmooze.org. It's what you call, we're doing pitcher drinks. So you don't have to stand and make cocktails one at a time. The book is called Batch Cocktails, and it's Maggie Hoffman back on our show. And this is how you do these make-ahead pitcher drinks. We'll tell you how to keep them cold in just a second. For any occasion, especially when you've got a few folks coming over, up to 8 people. So Tipsy Daisy is vodka, chamomile tea, strawberry syrup. You tell us how to do that. Some slices of orange and the strawberries, and a dry, chilled, sparkling wine. And you make a pitcher drink of this. And then you add this syrup to it, which is got both spice and the strawberries and sugar and basil leaves. So you can see this kind of muddle, beautiful thing. It's going to be great. Tell me about this.
I just love this drink, especially now that strawberries are in season. You want to enjoy them so many different ways. And this drink is just a little bit spicy and so fresh because of the fresh basil leaves. So you can make this syrup a couple days in advance and keep it in your fridge. Throw your vodka in the fridge, sparkling wine in the fridge so everything's real cool. And you make chamomile tea, which is just a little bit floral and really enhances the strawberries. And so you chill all those ingredients, and then you can combine them, in the morning if you're having a party in the evening, and chill them in your pitcher. And then about 2 hours before serving or just before your guests arrive, you make the fresh lemon juice. And then when you're ready to go, you're going to fill your glasses with ice. You can use rocks glasses or wine glasses. It's casual. and then you can decorate your pitcher and just pour your cocktail in.
So I think everybody gets afraid when they're making either a pitcher or a punch bowl drink. How do you keep it cold? Do you just put buckets of ice around and people refresh it themselves? People have geeked out on ice. Everybody said,
Boiled
they have to be
water.
round, they have to be boiled, it has to be clear.
In the Arctic.
You know,
I love the bartenders that hand carve them into perfect spheres.
Half of it gets wasted.
It needs orchids in the center. Maggie does talk in the book about just how to do that. Can you school us on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a lot of options, and you shouldn't be nervous. This is about having fun. You know, when you're the host, you want to have a good time, too. So what I like to do is I like to chill whatever spirits that I can in the freezer before I start. So that vodka is going to be so, so cold, and that's going to keep your pitcher cold. And then in this drink, you're also going to be serving this over ice. So if it doesn't stay super, super cold during the hour of your party, you're going to cool off each glass by really filling the glasses to the top with ice. And I always like to say that if somebody is showing up late to the party, I ask them to bring another bag of ice.
As a punishment.
Until everybody's glass. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we have a thing that we do on the show, Maggie, and I wonder what you think. There are things that we love to have super cold. So we love our rosés to be super cold, and we love our beer to be super cold. So we make ice cubes out of the drink itself. We have done videos on this here on the show. So we'll freeze beer and then start using those cubes to keep it. And then as they melt, it doesn't get watered down. And we do the same thing with rosé. What's your take on that? Do you think we're doing an okay thing? Or
sometimes I think that's a great idea because you don't want your rosé to be watered down. In this case, a cocktail always needs some water. If you are at a bar, every cocktail you've ever ordered has water added. It's an essential ingredient, and it brings down the proof of the cocktail, and it brings down the sweetness of the cocktail. So in this case, I'm telling everyone to put the ice in their glasses that's water ice because I want this cocktail to dilute just a little bit.
Okay. Love that.
The other thing I would recommend, if it's a really hot day, is either to put your pitcher in a big bucket of ice or to consider splitting your pitcher among a few big either glass bottles or mason jars, and then you can bury those in your cooler of ice so that the base is cold. But don't skip the ice in the glass because if it's called for here, it's in part because we want that water.
And we like to put salt in our ice water in that bath because it does drop the temperatures really, really cold.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a third cocktail
Champagne, too.
called Unchained Melody. It serves about 10 people, 2-quart pitcher again. Well, you have to go to foodschmooze.org, or if you get the book, you'll see the photograph of this is so gorgeous.
It's
with
gorgeous.
all the,
Absolutely
and
gorgeous.
it's got, I'm crazy about bourbon. And this has, I love orange and bourbon together. So a bourbon, and you make an orange honey syrup. It's not hard to do. A little bit of water, fresh lemon juice, slices of oranges, orange tea bags. You make an orange tea, sugar and honey, and this all comes together in a pitcher drink. And I'm sorry, but I think in the summer, that's an unexpected cocktail, and it's just cold and it's fabulous. It's like being at the Kentucky Derby.
I'm thinking like tag sale pitchers too. Like I'd get the like a misfit of pitchers,
different pitchers to use for it. Yeah,
mismatched glasses.
Maggie, where's this one from? Because I'm nuts about bourbon cocktails. Go ahead.
This one is from Katie Pye Richardson Wilson, who has a bar in Brooklyn called Dirty Precious.
Yeah.
And she is just brilliant. And I love this drink because it's really simple. You're just doing bourbon. This is actually a 1-bottle cocktail. And you can do it in a pitcher, or the picture actually shows it in a punch bowl. And you want to know how big your punch bowl is because you might want to double the recipe if there's space in your punch bowl for a big block of ice and all the liquid. So I usually recommend, if you're having a party and you want to use a punch bowl, especially if you got it from a flea market, I recommend measuring out cups of water, pouring them in the punch bowl. Number one, you'll figure out how many cups the punch bowl can hold, and number two, you'll make sure there aren't any cracks.
That's a good idea. Hadn't thought about that. Okay, that's why it's in the tag sale, I think. It is so much fun to talk with you. I think this is a great idea. And, the host gets to enjoy the party, too, honestly, without standing, shaking, and mixing and pouring. And
I love this idea. Every holiday, we are always talking, Maggie, about how how we need to have like a signature cocktail, like you said, before the event. It just brightens the whole mood if you come in and you've got something there for them.
So what happens if people don't like it? So you have 9 out of 10 people who love it, and then someone's like, "Oh, I don't like."
Well, there's always beer and there's wine.
You have guards, and they are escorted from the party. I mean, if people don't like the drink,
take your ice and go.
You must leave now.
Yep. That's why you have ice in the backup freezer downstairs.
Well, it's true. I'm sure if someone says, I'm not allowed to have X, Y, or Z, you probably have a bottle of something hanging around and say, please let me make you whatever. So, I hope so. Batch Cocktails, Maggie Hoffman is the author, back on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, Maggie.
Thank you so much.
We're on Connecticut Public Radio Thursdays at 3 and 9 and Saturdays at noon. Weekdays, listen for my 60-second food schmoozes and never eat more than you can lift. In New Haven, I'm Faith Middleton.
Everybody eats when they come to mind.
Hey, don't want the party to end? Well, neither do we. Talk with us anytime online at foodschmooze.org.